strikeouts. Pickoff move. Just back in safely is Panaro. The defense for the Crawdads from left to right in the outfield is Jack. 1-0. No score early here, but Santino Panaro's one-out single has a base runner. He also has 16 steals, does Panaro. The 1-0 is popped up, back behind the screen, 1-1.
It's good to see here, too, even though it's 10 a.m. and pretty early on a weekday. Good a little amount of fans, more than I was expecting to see.
Yeah, this is just about as many, if not more, than we get at Monte Vista. As a pickoff move, Panaro back in safely.
Guess at 10 a.m. on a Thursday, if you don't have anything else to do, might as well come out and watch baseball all day.
I would be here. The 1-1 is inside and off the inside. Tajero can't corral it, and moving up to second is Santino Panaro. So a costly mistake there behind the plate by Tajero, as that deletes the possibility for a double play. And I think he was crossed up a little. He's going to go out and talk to Hollis Fanning.
He had to reach back out, or back in rather, and I know Hollis Fanning has been accustomed to working with Andrew McKenna in recent starts, but today he's got Zach Tajero, who maybe he's not entirely used to.
2-1 to Dom Soto. Fanning below the belt, comes set. The 2-1 is lined to first. Brome up with it. He's going to fire back to second, but no one's covering. Calvillo behind the bag is able to make sure it doesn't go into left, and Fanning gets out number 2.
How good and how smart is Calvillo to see all of that ahead of time, instantly knowing what Brome was going to do. He read it all the way, just as Ryan Brome did, and for him to get over and cover there, that's just a great play.
Here's Nathan Manning, who we didn't see when the Crawdads played the Riptide earlier, when they came up for a little 2-game set earlier. Manning hitting .244, a pair of home runs, 24 batted in, more walks than strikeouts. The first pitch is a cutter that misses low, 1-0. Manning out of Cal has really started the last 2 seasons. He's hit about .270 combined, so he's a good player. 1-0, Fanning fell behind early with Panaro on second. Fanning looks him back and deals. Cutter, low again, 2-0.
I don't mind that location there from Fanning, especially, I mean, he looks pretty comfortable with the cutter, and in his last start, that was definitely one of his keys, is to lean on that pitch heavily. And better to miss low down there than, belt high or around the letters.
The 2-0. Fanning takes on the inside with a fastball, 2-1. Fanning's fastball usually sits in that 91 to 93 range, can get up to 95. He had a season high 95 the last time the Crawdads, or the last time Fanning pitched over in Lincoln. He's behind in the count, 2-1 to Nathan Manning. Batting from the left side, Fanning delivers. Manning chops it to second base. Corey on a couple hops, takes his time, and throws on to first in plenty of time to retire Manning. So Santino Panaro hits a one-out single, but Hollis Fanning strands him there. We'll head bottom 1. Coleman Schmidt to lead it off for the Dads. Playoff baseball here on the Crawdad streaming network. A clean first inning from Hollis Fanning, and the Crawdads will send their lineup out onto the field with a clean slate. 0-0 the score early. Coleman Schmidt to lead it off for the Crawdads. The lineup for Walnut Creek, Coleman Schmidt, who has been at the leadoff spot for most of the summer. He's in center field leading off. Tyson Corio, the second baseman, bats second. Ryan Brome over at first, hits third. Brian Duroff at the DH spot today. Manager Cummings elected to go with a little more defensive heavy lineup with Duroff DHing and Brome at first, but Duroff in the cleanup spot. Cam Calvillo in the 5-hole, playing shortstop. Jack Ben-Shosh on the left fielder, bats sixth. Ryan Ellis, who we've seen 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4, 5. He's in the 7th spot today. Maybe wanting to give a little depth to that later part of the lineup. Casey Cummings, who has been very hot in the 8-hole, and then Zach Tajero rounds out the lineup. Here's the big bopper, Coleman Schmidt, hitting .313, 10 home runs to lead the team, 39 batted in, 13 doubles, 3 triples, 16 steals. He has been electric. First pitch, swing and a miss, a fastball on the upper outside edge for strike one.
If Schaefer's going to feed Schmidt fastballs high in the zone, that might be something that he wants to rethink here. Even though Schmidt has cooled off towards the end of the season and heading into the playoffs, that's not where you want to be against Coleman.
0-1. Schmidt takes called strike 2 on the inside. 0-2. So Schmidt very adept to the strikeout, maybe not in a good way, but does have 44 of them this summer, leading the team by far. The 0-2. Schmidt takes way up and outside, 1-2.
He's just so streaky, and that's the thing that we've come to know about Coleman Schmidt this season. It's sometimes he goes on a stretch where he doesn't look very good and nothing's really working for him, and then all of a sudden he'll break out of it for 2 weeks.
The 1-2. Schmidt takes off the outside, 2-2. You mentioned how streaky Coleman Schmidt is. He had a 4-hit game against Sonoma just about a week ago, and then since then is mired in an offer. Offer's last 19. The 2-2. Schmidt swings and misses. An off-speed pitch off the outside for out number 1.
Not a bad at-bat from Coleman Schmidt. I mean, you don't want to see the strikeout, but it is part of his game, and I think he gave a chance for the rest of the Crawdads hitters to really see what Schaefer has out there on the mound, so at least he made him throw, multiple pitches, but still, you'd like to get that leadoff man on, especially in your first trip to the playoffs.
The defense for the Riptide, Gavin Hamovitz, Santino Panaro, and Nathan Manning, the outfield from left to right, as the first pitch to Corio is called strike 1. Dom Soto at third base, Shane Taylor, the shortstop, Anthony Angel over at second base, and then the first baseman, Blake Penso, with Gavin Mez behind the plate. Corio fouls it straight back, 0-2, and Reed Schaefer on the mound. Schaefer has been okay this summer. He's 1-1 with his 6.15 ERA, but over a strikeout an inning. Also, more walks than strikeouts, which is not good at all. The 0-2. Corio flips it to the exact same spot, and the count stays 0-2.
I think maybe lucky for Schaefer is that he's seeing righty Corio right now, high in the lineup today.
Corio's behind in the count, 0-2. Schaefer deals a curveball down low into the on-deck circle where Ryan Brome grabs it. Good hands by Bromer over there.
Thought for a second he might take a little practice whack at it.
1-2 to Corio. No score here. Schaefer deals. Corio strikes out swinging. So Schaefer's got that strikeout stuff working early. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the game. Corio came into the game hitting .286, 4 home runs, 25 batted in. A ton of walks, 29 of them to lead the Crawdads.
29 walks to now 31 Ks, but that's great. He's had a great summer, and okay, rough start here in the first at-bat, but Ryan Brome, you figure he won't strike out.
First pitch to Brome is swung on and missed, so made you eat your words a little bit there, did Ryan Brome and Reed Schaefer.
He's been in situations all season where he's been down in the count. We'll see if he can fight and find something he likes.
Brome batting .363 with a pair of home runs, 27 batted in. He doesn't have a conference home run, but he did hit a tank against this Riptide team, as the 0-1 is on the outside with a fastball 0-2. Schaefer ahead in the count, trying to strike out the side in the first. The 0-2. Brome stays alive, fouls it back to the screen. Ryan Brome not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
Classic Ryan Brome. The pitch right there, and he's just, okay, I'll flip this foul. I'll take a cut on this, make a little bit of contact, and eventually I'll wear you down.
The 0-2. Brome leaves a slider in the dirt, 1-2. Schaefer, the lefty, takes a deep breath, works exclusively from the stretch, and delivers. Brome takes up high with a fastball, 2-2.
Schaefer's figuring, okay, I got through the first 2 hitters with relative ease. Why isn't this guy swinging at something low in the dirt or way up high around the collar?
Deuces are wild here in the bottom of the first with no score. Schaefer delivers. Brome hits a high fly ball to center field. Shallow. Panaro. Under it. Reaches out with the right hand and makes the catch. So, Reed Schaefer, a quick 1-2-3 inning with a pair of strikeouts, and Ryan Brome flies out to end it. Led to the top of the second inning. 0-0 the score here on the Crawdad streaming network. A quick first inning for both Hollis Fanning and Reed Schaefer, and we head to the top of the second. Fanning back out to the mound. He'll be facing 5, 6, 7 in the Riptide lineup. Blake Penso, Gavin Mez, and Anthony Angel Jr.
Well, Hollis has looked good through the first couple of hitters he's faced. Did allow a base runner, but that's okay. Hollis Fanning doesn't mind working through those situations.
Here's big Blake Penso, who's having a great summer. 309, a home run, 10 batted in. A returner to this OC Riptide team. First pitch, Penso swings and misses. A healthy fastball at the base of the strike zone, 0-1. Penso last summer with the Riptide hit a pair of home runs, 3 doubles, but just a 200 average. The 0-1, Penso takes just off the outside, 1-1.
Looked like a pretty good pitch and a good location there from Tejero to call for, but just a bit outside.
The 1-1, Penso flies it up to the right side, but foul. Penso has the most strikeouts on this OC Riptide team with 27. He's really the only guy in the upper half of this lineup that strikes out much more frequently than they walk. Fanning looking to set him down here. As he's up 1-2, he delivers a chopper back to the mound and over the head of Fanning. Corio up with it on the run, throws to first. Brome held his foot on the bag and sticks it to make the play for the first out.
Great play by Tyson Corio. Made that look easy, even though it was a pretty close play over at first. And, you know, it's a high bounce when it gets over the glove of Hollis Fanning. But first thing I thought about there was, wow, how different that would have looked if the playoffs were in Lincoln like they were last summer.
Right, that ball takes a hop and is in the outfield. Here's Gavin Mez, the backstop. First pitch is lined into left center. Schmidt going over, but it's going to elude his glove and get into the alleyway. Up against the wall. Ben Shoshan and Schmidt can't find it. Mez is going to be up into second with a one-out stand-up double.
It's going to be a double all the way, hitting into the gap, even with two speedy outfielders out there, and center and left, Schmidt and Ben Show. But Gavin Mez just put a good lick on the ball. And sometimes that happens, and Hollis Fanning has been hit a couple of times, but he's not afraid of contact, as we've seen all season. He's not afraid of bats getting on the ball. He just doesn't want it to be good contact.
Gavin Mez came in hitting .322 with a pair of home runs and 9 batted in, and he'll hand the bat to Anthony Angel Jr. First pitch, Angel takes, it's called strike one. Right on the outside, 0-1. Angel just 143 average. Pair of RBI, his one hit, a double. That came in the first game against the Blues, his first game against the Blues. The 0-1. Angel takes down low. The count goes even, one apiece. Anthony Angel, somewhat similar of a situation to Cam Calvillo, coming in and establishing infield defense late in the season. Whatever they can add with the bat, their managers will take. The 1-1 is swung on and missed. A good cutter, 1-2. And with that said, Cam Calvillo has been electric with the bat, including a walk-off, a pair of doubles. He's been very good. 1-2 to Angel. With a runner on second. It's Mez. The 1-2. Grounded up the middle. Calvillo somehow snags it, spins behind the bag at second, and throws out the speeding Angel at first. What a play by Cam Calvillo.
I don't know how he picked it off that hop. That was a tough hop, and he just scooped it and pirouette and whips it over there to first. And, you know, you were just talking about Calvillo right on cue. He makes a play like that. And we've been having this conversation a little bit, especially you bringing it up, Austin, is Calvillo maybe one of the best players on this team? Is he the best all-around position player on the team? I mean, he's making an argument for it.
First pitch to Isaiah Morales is lined into left, but foul. 0-1. I won't go as far to say he's the best player on this team yet, but he has been a very welcome addition, and you have to wonder what the Crawdads would have looked like if a guy like Cam Calvillo had been here this entire summer. 0-1 to Morales, hitting just 125. Fanning delivers a fastball just off the outside, 1-1.
Tell you what, with Cam Calvillo here all summer, then you can really go to a combination of Ellis or King over at third, although King gone now and, you know, probably a lot more stable on that left side of the infield.
Runner on third, the 1-1. Morales chops it over to first. Brome on a backhand, flips to Fanning, covering, and he drops the ball. The ball gets away from Fanning, trying to cover the first base bag. Brome tried to lead him, but threw it a little too far to the home plate side of Fanning, trying to cover first, and an early run, the Riptide.
And it was a low throw, too, off balance from Brome, and kind of wonder if that's a little bit of him being more in the outfield lately for the Crawdads and Duroff over there. He did a good job to get to that ball, but that's a tough reach for Hollis Fanning, who's quite tall, to reach down and then behind to try to pick that throw.
So now 1-0, the Riptide lead. Here's Gavin Hamovitz. First pitch is right on the outside, 0-1. Hamovitz, 150 average, a pair of home runs, 11 batted in. One nothing Riptide. Fanning picks off to first, but back in safely is Morales. 0-1 to Hamovitz in left field today. Fanning fires. A big cutter off the outside. 0-2.
Still waiting to see how they rule that play. Morales seems like the scorekeeper might even be going back and forth.
Pickoff move, and they have Morales picked off. No, they're going to call a balk on Fanning. Wow.
I don't know about that one. It looked like Hollis was pretty intentional in terms of throwing right over to first.
They're going to give an error to Brome on the last play where a run came home to score, and now a runner in scoring position, but it is 0-2 to Hamovitz. The 0-2 is chopped to short. Calvillo forehands it and throws to first in time. But the Riptide score one on an error by Ryan Brome and will head bottom one. Now the Crawdads needing runs to come back in this game. 1-0, bottom two when we come back on the Crawdad streaming network. Bottom of the second inning here in San Luis Obispo, California. The Crawdads now trail 1-0. Hollis Fanning and unearned runs. The greatest love story of our generation.
Yeah, the unearned runs. I mean, you're talking about Calvillo, what the defense would have looked like with him on the left side all year. There were a lot of unearned runs given up because of the left side of the defense.
First pitch to Duroff is right at the base of the strike zone, 0-1. Fanning has given up 24 runs this summer, only 17 of them earned. Brian Duroff, 316, 4 home runs, 31 RBI. He has been on a tear recently. 1-0 the score. Duroff takes down and in, 1-1. Duroff had a huge game against Sonoma the other day, including a home run to start the scoring, a ground ball single to tie the game in the 9th. Then another ball he took to the wall. The 1-1. Duroff takes way outside, 2-1. Still Reed Schaefer on the mound. We'll see how long he goes. We know that this OC Riptide team is slightly depleted as well, especially on the pitching side. 2-1 to the cleanup hitter, Brian Duroff. He swings through a fastball, 2-2.
And they only have, I believe it's 23 players, 11 position players, and 12 arms for the Riptide.
The 2-2. Duroff stays alive, fouls it back off to the right.
I think maybe the Crawdads would take a few arms.
Oh, they would. The Crawdads sitting at just 6 pitchers as of now. The 2-2. Duroff stays alive again, lines this one foul off past the Crawdads dugout. He dug out a big curveball there, down and in.
Hopefully he's giving himself some encouragement in the batter's box. I think he really wanted to turn on that.
The 2-2. Duroff swings and misses a high fastball for strikeout number 3 and out number 1.
It looks like that is a spot that Schaefer's very comfortable going to with his fastball high and away to these righties in the Crawdads lineup. And they haven't been able to lay off of it. Duroff is one of the hitters, though, who can get up to that ball.
First pitch to Calvillo is in the dirt, 1-0. Calvillo 379, 5 batted in, no home runs, but he's hit a couple balls that have looked like home runs. The Crawdads trail 1-0 here in the bottom of the second in Game 1 of the CCL playoffs. Schaefer, the 1-0. Calvillo swings and misses. These Crawdads have not been able to catch up to that fastball today.
Yeah, that high outside location there, outer portion of the plate and high, they might just have to eliminate that thing.
The 1-1. Calvillo takes right at the base of the zone, 1-2.
And it's a tough pitch to lay off of because it looks like it's right in your wheelhouse because your eyes are seeing it immediately, but it's just tough to react to.
Schaefer looking for strikeout number 4, the 1-2, and he gets it. A high fastball. Calvillo can't catch up to it for out number 2.
Well, for a team that is depleted and Reed Schaefer having to make the start today, he looks pretty darn good, and he's not having any trouble with this lineup. The only out that has not been a strikeout was Ryan Brome, and that's per usual with Ryan Brome. He's usually not going to strike out.
First pitch to Jack Ben-Shoshan is down and in. Reed Schaefer's had some not great performances this summer, but the last time he pitched against the Foresters on July 23rd, he went 4 shutout innings with just 2 hits allowed in a 2-1 victory. The 1-0 is off the outside, 2-0. The Crawdads have seen Reed Schaefer before. On June 26th, he gave up 3 earned runs in that 13-5 Crawdads win. Game 2 of that electric winning streak. 2-0. Ben-Shoshan fouls it off to the right, 2-1.
The Crawdads were able to see a couple of Southern teams at their home park in Danville, California, Monte Vista. Saw the Saints, the Arroyo Seco Saints, as well as the OC Riptide.
The 2-1. And Ben-Shoshan swings and misses at a fastball, 2-2. It might be just because of the angle we're at, but it doesn't look like Schaefer's throwing much harder than the starters that the Crawdads have seen this summer. They're just unable to catch up to it. I think it's probably an RPMs thing, spin rate. The 2-2 in the dirt, ball 3.
I think they also might be having some trouble picking the ball up with the way Schaefer delivers it, and then on top of that, the white sleeves that the Riptide have, it's deceptive.
The 3-2. Ben-Shoshan stays alive, fouls it straight back, 3-2. I know you mentioned last year that Ty Atkins, when he was pitching for the Crawdads, would wear white shoes because he would come down from that submarine angle almost and hide the ball just about as long as he could.
And with the lights on when they were pitching at night, I mean, he was tough.
The 3-2. Ben-Shoshan lines it into right field and in front of Manning for a base hit. A really nice long at bat for the Ben show. And the Crawdads have a 2-up base runner.
And they needed that. Just able to fight one off on the inside part of the bat and just muscle it out there. And maybe that'll get something started for the Crawdads, who have been, I think all season we can say that they were a very good team with 2 away at points when they were at their best.
Here's Ryan Ellis, 356 average, 4 home runs, 24 batted in. The league leader in steals and doubles. First pitch, Ellis takes off the outside, ball 1. Ellis with 15 doubles and 20 stolen bases. He's been great.
And one of those doubles against Lincoln probably should have been a single, but he was hustling all the way.
Pickoff move. And, well, if that's not a balk, I don't know how Hollis Fannings is. They're going to call Ben-Shoshan out on the tag. They got him in a pickle. But Manager Cummings immediately out to argue that one. I'm at a little bit of a loss for words because Hollis Fannings looked good, and that one Definitely did not.
That one was more egregious. Ryan Lovato instantly, the first base coach for the Crawdads, Ryan Lovato instantly pointed at the pitcher and said, "That's not a balk," and you could hear him yell from up here. So manager Brant Cummings is not going to win that argument, but interesting. Something very subtle that Hollis Fanning may or may not have done, and then this one, it looked like a move towards home plate, and instead they get Ben showing a rundown.
Well, we'll head to the top of the third. 1-0 the score. The Crawdads get a hit, but can't score him, and we'll head top three here on the Crawdad streaming network. Top of the third inning from beautiful Sinsheimer Park in San Luis Obispo, where the Sin don't chime. 1-0, the Crawdads trail. It'll be the top of the lineup: Shane Taylor, Santino Panero, and Dom Soto. Taylor struck out in his first at bat, so he's 0 for 1. First pitch. Up high, 1-0. Fanning works from the first base side. They just announced Casey Cummings as the hitter, but from what I remember, he plays for the Crawdads.
Different number 5.
The 1-0 is on the outside, 1-1. Casey Cummings in right field looked up to the booth and was like, "What?
I get the hit? Guess we're back in the box, boys."
The 1-1. Cutter just off the outside, 2-1. It's a very small strike zone today.
That call hasn't been there for either pitcher right there on that outside edge.
I like the consistency. I'd rather consistency than inconsistency, of course, as the 2-1 is swung on and missed. Way late on the fastball was Taylor, 2-2.
I love when Fanning can add a little to the cutter and then take some off, and then when he does take something off of the cutter, he just goes with a big, hard fastball, and it seems to always get hitters off balance.
The 2-2. Taylor lines it to short. Calvillo on a hop, flubs it, throws to first, recovers in time. What a job by Cam Calvillo for the first out of the inning.
Great job by Calvillo. Wasn't able to make a clean play on it, but then body blocked it and recovered and made a good throw. And we got to give credit as well to the first baseman, Brome, to make a good stretch. And Duroff being a DH today, we've seen him have some trouble picking the ball off the dirt, and Brome, no issues there.
Here's Santino Panaro, 1 for 1 today. Lined a single into right, his first at bat. First pitch, he squares to bunt, but pulls back and takes ball 1-0. 1-0 the score here in the top of the third inning. The 1-0. Just off the outside and high, 2-0. Game 1 of the 2022 CCL tournament, the 4-seed Walnut Creek Crawdads and the 5-seed Orange County Riptide. The 2-0. A pop-up into center field. Schmidt coming in hard, but back out from short is Calvillo, who goes into a tumble and makes the play. 2 down.
I don't know how he does it. I don't know how Calvillo gets such a good read off of seemingly every ball that is hit. Every single ball that is hit, he reads it immediately. The man has a supercomputer in his head, and it tells him the exact path he has to take to get to where he needs to go. And he's just so good defensively.
Here's Dom Soto, 0 for 1 today. First pitch is inside with a fastball, 1-0. Soto ducked away from it, took it for ball 1.
Soto was a little scared there.
I would be too. If there's any pitcher in the CCL I would not want to face, it would probably be Hollis Fanning. The 1-0, just off the inside and high, 2-0.
Right now with Blues going, I've done like 3 to 5 days.
Fanning behind in the count, 2-0. He kicks and deals a fastball up and away, 3-0.
Well, here in this at-bat, it's evident that you're not going to get a call right on that inside black, and you're definitely not going to get one outside.
The 3-0 is right down the middle for strike 1. Fanning doesn't walk a lot of batters, only 7 in 45 innings this summer. And if you think about it, 3 of them came in his last start. The 3-1 is fly to left field. Ben Shoshan hustling towards the line, goes into a little bit of a dive and can't get to it. Soto will go to second. He'll be upstanding. A bad read by Ben Shoshan to make an attempt to cut it off. He like started his dive and then decided just at the last minute, no.
I think even though he didn't go into a full dive, he started to stumble into it and thought about going for it and realized that would have been a bad decision. Probably would have been 3 bases. So he limits it to 2. I do wonder whether Soto would have gotten to second base either way on that ball, but Bencho's got a good arm. He probably would have got it back in.
Here's Nathan Manning, the right fielder, who's 0 for 1. A runner on second. Third time today that the Riptide have had a runner on second. First pitch to Manning is a big cutter, just a little low, 1-0.
One thing you wonder if when Fanning starts manipulating the ball out there, taking a long time in between pitches, is he trying to find that cutter again? That's something that he mentions he does and doesn't always like to do it.
1-0, Manning flips it foul off to the left, 1-1.
I'm using my body and just diving.
1-1 to Nathan Manning. Fanning delivers. Manning flies it past the Crawdads bullpen, 1-2.
Not much in the bullpen. Not going to be much in the bullpen for the Crawdads all playoffs. That's the situation they're in.
Fanning looking to strand Soto at second. He's ahead 1-2 to Nathan Manning, the right fielder. The 1-2. Chopper to second base. Corio on the carpet, picks it up, tosses to first in time. So Fanning strands the runner on second after the 2-out double. We'll head bottom of the 3rd inning. Ryan Ellis, Casey Cummings, Zach Tajero to hit for the Crawdads here on the Crawdad Streaming Network. Bottom of the 3rd inning, the Crawdads trailing 1-0. Austin Oda alongside me, the tremendous Alon Desai, who's going to be taking over on play-by-play for innings 4 through 6. Are you excited?
Oh, first time the Crawdads have been in the playoffs. I'm juiced, man.
First pitch to Ryan Ellis is chopped to the first base side, over the first baseman Penso, feeds to Schaefer, tries to cover, but he can't reach the bag with the back foot. Did a little spin cycle, and Ellis beats it out.
That's the speed of Ellis right there. That'll be a single all the way for him, and that would have been a tough race to win for Schaefer, even if he received a perfect throw and was headed to the bag in a perfect line there. But Ellis puts a lot of pressure on infield defenders, and the OC Riptide just found that out.
Ellis came into the game hitting .356. Here's Casey Cummings. First pitch is on the outside, 0-1. Cummings, who has seen a drastic increase in his batting average. As recently as July 24th, he was all the way down to 150. In the last week, he has raised his average over 100 points. 0-1. Cummings grounds it up the middle. Back behind shortstop, flip to second for one. The return throw to first is not in time. They do get one, but Cummings beats it out on the backside. Taylor to Angel, over to Penso at first, and there's one down.
Well, I do like the lineup today with Ellis and Cummings right next to each other, 7 and 8. That is a whole ton of speed there for the Crawdads, and then, not a bad option in the number 9 hole here with Tejero, who, is just trying to put the bat on the ball and make something happen.
Tejero 262. Pickoff move back in safely as Cummings. Tejero 262 average, 16 batted in. No home runs.
It's also fascinating on the defensive positioning here with how far Soto's playing in.
First pitch, Tejero chops it to first, just foul, past Penso. 0-1. Cummings was on the move, it looked like.
In this positioning by the third baseman Soto, there's a whole lot of room there in between him and the line. If Tejero's late on something and he just hits it to the opposite field, that'll end up all the way into the outfield.
0-1. Schaefer picks off. Cummings back in safely. Cummings tremendous speed over at first. The 0-1. In the dirt, gets past the catcher Mez, and Cummings is going to be up at second base easily.
And now, with Cummings and his speed over at second, you figure any single into the outfield, anything that gets through the infield and onto the outfield grass should score him. Unless it's just a bouncer right in front of one of these outfielders.
1-1 to Tejero, who tends to come through a lot in big spots. He's had a very good summer with runners in scoring position. The 1-1. Tejero flips it foul. 1-2.
He's thinking about that big open green patch in left center.
Now Soto, the third baseman, playing about medium depth. He was pulled all the way in. The infield shifted slightly to the right with Taylor, the shortstop, directly behind Cummings, the runner, at second. The 1-2. Tejero strikes out swinging, a ball in the dirt. Up with it is Mez. He'll throw to first in time to retire Tejero officially for out number 2.
Well, the good news for the Crawdads is they still, excuse me, as my chair just broke there. I may have released it, or that might mean I need to go back on a diet. They do have donuts up here in the press box. That's not good for me, but the good thing for the Crawdads, that was scary, is that Cummings is still over at second, and now you get Coleman Schmidt a chance here, and that if he sees another high fastball out of Schaefer, he's going to be sitting on it.
Here's Coleman Schmidt now with 2 outs. Cummings on second. Schmidt looking to tie the game or give the Dads the lead. First pitch is just off the outside to Coleman Schmidt. Schmidt struck out in his first at bat. One of 5 strikeouts with Coleman for Schaefer, the first time through the lineup. Ball that gets to the outfield will almost definitely score Cummings with a 2-out jump. The 1-0 in the dirt. Blocked this time by Mez.
lot of small shifts going on today from the OC Riptide. Now you see the center fielder, Santino Pinaro, shifted slightly to his right or left.
The infield swung over to the left side. The 2-0. Schmidt takes in the dirt, ball 3.
And this might not be the worst outcome in the world for Schaefer and the Riptide here if he just elects to throw one outside the zone against Schmidt. You don't want to lay a cookie for him, even in a 3-0 count, because, I mean, with 2 away, a runner on second, if Schmidt sees something he likes, he's going to go after it.
3-0 to Schmidt with Tyson Corio waiting on deck. The lefty Schaefer delivers in the dirt, ball 4. Not the worst approach, have an open base. Let Coleman Schmidt take it and hand the bat to Tyson Corio.
Yeah, righty Corio is a much better matchup for Schaefer than the big bat of Coleman Schmidt, as sounds like we're getting a flyover here late.
I know, first pitch was an hour ago, guys. We weren't told there was going to be an anthem. We also weren't told there was going to be a flyover. Here's Tyson Corio. First pitch up high with a fastball. Corio, while he struggles from the right side, did have a huge at-bat in the 3-run ninth inning comeback against Sonoma the other day, where he spiked a ball off his foot on the first pitch, fouled it off his foot very hard, and then was able to step right back in the box and smash a single to right. A single to right would score Cummings here. The 1-0. Corio tries to do that, but gets under it and fouls it behind the plate, 1-1. Corio 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. 1-0. The Riptide lead here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Casey Cummings, the man on second, with Coleman Schmidt over at first, and 2 outs. 1-1 the count to Tyson Corio. The shortstop Taylor sits deep in the shortstop hole with Angel right behind the second base bag. The 1-1 is off the outside and high, 2-1.
You're just not going to get anything easy today in that zone, around the zone, rather. And it's been very consistent, and I would say this is one of the best zones we've seen all summer. I mean, it's right there. You better hit the plate.
I agree. I think it's a really, really good zone. The 2-1. Corio pops it up onto the right side. Penso, the first baseman, ranges into foul territory. Now drifts back fair, but makes the catch. The second baseman, Angel, holds him up with the ball, and there's 3 down. The Crawdads threaten but do not score. We'll head to the top of the 4th with a lot to say on play-by-play here on the Crawdads streaming network.
Top of the 4th inning, the Crawdads down 1-0 against the Riptide in the opening game of the 2022 CCL State Championship here in San Luis Obispo, California. Hollis Fanning still on the mound for the Crawdads. He's been pretty darn good. Just one run has crossed on his watch thus far, although can't say enough about his counterpart, Reed Schaefer, who has been outstanding against the Crawdads through 3 innings. But Hollis Fanning gonna look to get through another inning of work here and put up another scoreless frame, as Blake Penso gonna lead off for the OC Riptide. It's 5, 6, and 7. Penso, Mez, and Anthony Angel. Pitch here from Fanning. It's chopped over to the charging shortstop, Calvillo, and it bounces off his body. He couldn't pick it on the short hop. And over at first will be Blake Penso. That'll be a single all the way. Tough play to make for Calvillo, although we have seen him make quite a few difficult plays this season.
Calvillo was originally sitting back on it trying to get that big hop, and then saw Penso speeding down the line and elected to try to charge on it. At least kept it in front of him.
A good speed out there from the first baseman, Penso, as well. Penso now 1 for 2. This pitch misses outside to Gavin Mez. He's the catcher today, who has a double. Came around to score as well. Morales put a ball in play that could not be fielded cleanly. Ended up being an error on Ryan Brome, the first baseman. The 1-0 pitch swung on and missed. Going fishing low there was Gavin Mez. Crawdad's defense, they're looking for a double play here. See where the infielders are positioned. Mez hits this hard over to Brome, who's up with it. Throws to second for 1. Calvillo, the return throw over to first, and it's to Fanning just in time. That's a double play.
Well, you ask and you shall receive. That was pretty perfect. Brome bobbled it at first, but it was hit so hard. And with the catcher legs of Mez at the plate, he knew he had time. Threw to first. Calvillo was covering, and like you mentioned, the big cat, Hollis Fanning at first, covered on the return throw and made the play.
Fanning got over there really well, and even though he is a pitcher, he presents a large target with a big wingspan, so he can catch it. Pitch in there, and that's a strike to Anthony Angel. Angel, the second baseman, he's 0 for 1 today. Gavin Mez now 1 for 2, and Angel, half-hearted swing there. Thought about checking on it, but made contact and fouled it over past the grass, the grandstands, the seats down the first base line. The 0-2 pitch with 2 away, and this is popped up high into center. And coming on is the right fielder, Cummings, and he makes the catch. A very quick inning for Hollis Fanning. A double play was huge. Got that out of the bat of Gavin Mez, and Ryan Brome really made a fantastic effort there to really start that turn of the double play. But after 3.5, it is 1-0 Riptide. The Crawdads will be up to bat when we return here on the Crawdad streaming network. Bottom of the 4th inning, Ryan Brome, who was integral on a double play last half inning, is going to lead things off. It's Brome, Duroff, and Calvillo. Up until Jack Ben-Shoshan's hit for the Crawdads, Brome's flyout was the best at-bat that they had had as the first pitch misses low. It's 1-0 Orange County. 1-0 pitch to Brome, and he hits this down the left field line, but foul.
I will say I've been very impressed with what Reed Schaefer's given Riptide today, coming in with an ERA over 6 and really carving through this Crawdads lineup early. The struggle with him this summer has been the walk, and he's only gotten one of them to 5 strikeouts.
1-1 pitch to Brome, and he hits this hard on the ground, and it gets through the first baseman, Penso. Penso went down to a knee there to try to get it, but that was a hard hit ball by Brome. And that'll be a hit for Ryan Brome. He's now 1 for 2. Put the ball in play. Good things happen.
Unless, of course, you're Gavin Mez putting it in play to first base and then Ryan Brome turning a double play.
Ryan Brome is going to gobble everything up over there. He's so good in the outfield, and he's great at first base. So here is Brian Duroff, who's not playing first base today. He's a designated hitter, and he takes away the count 1-0. Duroff struck out in his first at-bat. That was the first of 2 consecutive strikeouts in the bottom of the 2nd. 1-0 pitch. Duroff gets under it, pops it up high in front of the dugout of the Riptide. Penso looking at it, and he can't come up with it. Tried to reach out at the last second, and actually that wasn't Penso. Oh, no, that was Penso. So it was Angel who came over to help him out, but I thought for a second Angel might actually take it because it tailed away from Penso, and Penso decided that that was his ball all the way.
Blake Penso now 2 straight plays that should be made by a first baseman, even though Brome's was hard hit. And then if you go back to last inning, the pop-up that ended the inning, he had a little bit of an adventure on as well, and he looks like a catcher playing first base.
And a pickoff move. Seen quite a few of those, not just from Reed Schaefer, but also from Hollis Fanning. I think really the big moment so far has been the balk against Hollis Fanning in terms of the pitcher's duel. And one not being called on Schaefer. Pitch here to Duroff. This bounces up to the catcher, Gavin Mez.
If you look back to it, though, that balk against Hollis Fanning didn't account for any runs directly. The double before and then the single to score him, the error to score him. But Fanning was able to strand the runner on the balk. But it does feel like if Jack Ben-Shoshan had been credited that balk in his last at-bat, the game might be a little different.
2-1 pitch, and Duroff gets into this, tailing into right field, high, and coming in to make the catch is the right fielder Manning. Now there's one down. It's still 1-0 Orange County. That ball just not going to carry today. Duroff got under it, but put pretty good wood on it, but hit it far too high, and it's just not going to leave the park. You almost have to hit a line drive home run here, just as hard as you possibly can, because the higher the ball goes up in the air, this is fouled away by Calvillo. It just seems like that wind and the sea air here is just going to keep the ball inside the fences.
It's a pretty perfect day for baseball, though. I don't think anyone's complaining.
It is a great day for baseball. There's a little bit clouds in the sky, but blue skies as well, and it's sunny and comfortable temperature. Might have to take the sweatshirts off soon.
The high through Saturday is 78 degrees. So 3 pretty perfect days for baseball. Hopefully we see the Crawdads play on Saturday.
Another move over to first, and if the Crawdads do play on Saturday, that means they had a pretty successful first 2 days of the tournament. Crawdads in their first ever playoff game, this iteration of the Crawdads. 1-1 pitch to Calvillo, misses high. Calvillo's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. But he's been excellent so far out in the field. And, if he finds something that he's comfortable with at the plate, he is always a threat to get one down the line and go for extra bases. The 2-1 pitch. This misses high. The count 3 balls and a strike.
What I wonder is if the Crawdads, depending on how long they go in this tournament, will we see Cam Calvillo on the mound? He is a two-way player at Ohlone. He got about 13 innings there last year, but we never know. We might have to see him.
He's got the arm. The 3-1 pitch. Calvillo goes after. That was going to be a strike all the way, so not a bad decision and a hitter's count there by Calvillo, but it's foul. The count 3-2, and wouldn't be the first position player we've seen out there. Think about Casey Cummings, who has pitched, Jack Ben-Shoshan. I mean, he really is a two-way player. Payoff pitch to Calvillo, and that's the first call we've seen that is right in that in-between area on the inside black. Calvillo strikes out looking. He thought that was ball 4.
Thought it was low and in, but called strike 3 on the inside corner. A tough at-bat for Cam Calvillo.
Here is Jack Ben-Shoshan, who's 1 for 1. Fortunately for the Crawdads, he was caught in a rundown between first and second on what looked like it could have been called a balk against Reed Schaefer, but it was not. First pitch to Ben-Sho misses low. The count 1-0. Brome still over at first. It's 1-0 Riptide here in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 pitch to Jack, and he takes for a strike. The count 1-1. One of the things that both of these teams, and not just these two teams in the playoffs, but a lot of the different teams, is roster attrition. That has really been a theme over, say, the past 2 to 3 weeks here in the CCL. The 1-1 pitch to Ben-Sho. He takes low and in for a ball. The count 2-1. The Riptide only with 23 players, 11 position players, and 12 pitchers. And the Crawdads, I mean, 6 arms, 6 pitchers, 6 pitchers, 6 men who were supposed to be pitchers this season are on the roster for them.
The Crawdads only have 17 players. They're hoping to just get some good innings out of some guys.
You got to get good innings out of starters. You also got to have performances like Gabe Tanner out of the bullpen or Jack Ben-Shoshan if he is able to throw. The 3-1 pitch to Ben-Sho and lines this foul past the dugout of the Crawdads. Count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. They're going to need some pitching performances, and Hollis Fanning so far this afternoon. Now it's turning into, well, it's not afternoon yet. It's 11:09, so still before noon. Game started at 10 a.m., but Hollis Fanning has turned into a good performance so far as a pickoff move here, but back in safely is Ryan Brome. But they're going to need Fanning to go innings today. This will be his lone start of the playoffs. He's headed back to Tennessee after this ball game. And still waiting on the payoff pitch is Ben-Sho. Another move over to first.
Smart by Schaefer to throw over a couple times. You know that Brome is going to be running on a 3-2 count, so trying to see if they can get him on first move.
The 3-2 to Jack Ben-Shoshan, and a dribbler down the third base line. Took a couple of skips, but it's foul. Saw third base coach John Jensen kind of try to barehand that one, but I don't think he was actually going after it.
Got to protect those hands.
Got to protect those hands. 3-2 pitch, and Ben-Sho takes, and he gets a walk. Now that looked like a pretty good breaker there from Schaefer, but just missing a bit out. And now there's runners at first and second.
Yeah, Ben-Sho stood there a little longer to make sure it was actually ball 4. He didn't want to start heading to first if it wasn't, but a nice take, an off-speed pitch on 3-2, a good look by Schaefer. Was unable to get the call.
The Crawdads will be happy with that, but if there's anybody who's frustrated in the dugout for them, it's Cam Calvillo, who thought he should have walked. Here's Ryan Ellis. Ellis 1 for 1. Lefty against lefty. The first pitch to the Crawdads third baseman misses low. The count 1-0. Might even see Ryan Ellis on the mound if they need it.
I saw him throw before the game the other day. He likes doing it. His pitches have movement. He throws pretty hard. We know that.
was getting up to 86, 87, I believe, as Ellis hits this hard down the right field line, and Brom rounds third. He comes home to score. That's an RBI single for Ellis. This game is tied 1-1. Ryan Ellis comes through there with 2 away, and now there's runners on the corners.
Like you mentioned, 2-out hitting for the Crawdads has been so big this summer. Ryan Ellis stays inside a fastball, punches it into right field, doesn't get all of it, but gets just enough and ties the game at 1-1.
Huge moment for the Crawdads, and now, after Reed had been so good, giving up the first run of this ball game for the Crawdads, and he's going to have a conference here on the mound with his cohorts, but just a good piece of hitting from Ryan Ellis. And what is the approach from Ryan Ellis? What has really been so good for him this season, Austin? And it just seems like he's able to rack up extra base hits. That one just a single, but he puts the ball where the defenders aren't in the outfield.
He just trusts his swing, and I think that's a big part of it. Is he's similar to Ryan Brome, and it doesn't matter what the count is, he's going to put the bat on the ball, and he's such a talented hitter. I think I have so much respect for guys like Ryan Ellis who, like, looking at them, they're not the biggest guy, right? Ryan Ellis is 5'7", and they've just worked harder their whole lives because they haven't been gifted that natural ability.
Pitch to Casey Cummings misses. Breaking ball, the count 1-0. And yeah, small stature and probably about 160 pounds soaking wet, but he gets it done. Runners on the corners. It's 1-1. Game is tied after Ryan Ellis is able to get a much-needed RBI single. Cummings takes a strike. The count 1-1. Ellis over at first. Jack Ben Shoshan, who reached with a walk before Ellis's RBI single. And now they have Ellis caught between first and second. A little bit of trouble out there for Penso. And now coming home is Jack Ben Shoshan. The run will score. And does Ellis get back safely at first? He does not, but the run scores. So heads-up play by Jack Ben Shoshan over at third. And Ryan Ellis knew what he had to do as soon as he was caught off. Just keep himself alive long enough for Jack Ben Shoshan to cross home plate. What a way to score the second run to go ahead here by the Crawdads. It's 2-1 Walnut Creek after 4. Not the way you'd expect them to be up, but they are up by a run. Top of the 5th coming up when we come back here on the Crawdads streaming network. Top of the 5th inning, the Crawdads just took the lead. It is 2-1 Walnut Creek over the OC Riptide. The Crawdads officially the home team this morning. They are playing in their dark grays, the Riptide in the blue and white, but taking the lead really on a play you don't see very often, a man-kind rundown, but both Ellis between first and second and Jack Ben Shoshan, who was over at third, they knew exactly what they had to do there. And the Crawdads, they benefit from it. They capitalize on it.
I don't want to compare Ryan Ellis and Jack Ben Shoshan to like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, but there's some sort of synergy between the two of them where they know where each other is on the field at all times. It looked like it was in play there.
And any kind of chewing out that Ryan Ellis may have gotten off of first was probably forgiven after Ben Show scored. Pitch here is fouled away by Isaiah Morales. He is the designated hitter this morning for the OC Riptide. It's 8-9-1. Morales, Hamovitz, and Taylor. Morales has reached base once today on an error from Ryan Brome. There's a strike, and the count 0-2.
It's always big for Hollis Fanning to come back and try for a shutdown inning.
0-2 pitch. Fanning delivers. This is hit hard on the left side and gets past a diving Calvillo into left. That's a leadoff single for Isaiah Morales and the OC Riptide here in the top of the fifth.
Morales has had a good day, even though he reached on an error in the first time he was up. He hit it right between the 3-4 hole where someone was going to have to come over and someone was going to have to cover whoever the other one was, and now smokes the ball through the left side.
Now the fifth hit for the OC Riptide. Fanning has been very good. 36 strikes to just 18 balls, so 2-1 there. Pitch here to Hamovitz, and he fouls us back into the screen. And one of the things we're wondering is how many innings can Hollis Fanning give you? The pitch limit's right around 100 there with him. And if he's effective, and you know he has been so far this game, does he make it into the seventh and the eighth? I'm sure the Crawdads would love that with how thin the bullpen is.
Well, you mentioned a pitch limit. I don't know if there is a pitch limit for him today. He's being shut down at Tennessee when he goes back.
This pitch is fouled away.
He's being shut down at Tennessee when he goes back. He knows that already. So what he wants to do is he wants to go 9 every game. And I don't know if you remember earlier in the season, for those of you listening, we mentioned at one point that Hollis was on a 9 innings a week schedule, so it didn't matter what he did in his start. He would go the rest of that 9 innings the rest of the week. So he went 8 innings against the Saints and then 1 inning against the Stompers one time.
Pickoff move, a good one here from Fanning, but not able to get Morales over at first. No balk on that one, Blue. That's what Fanning is probably thinking in his head. But yeah, he had that nine inning limit per week, and really 9 innings in a start. That would just be phenomenal. Here's a breaking ball that is off the third base bag, takes a wicked hop over into left, and that's just tough for Ryan Ellis. When the ball hits off the bag like that, it can take any kind of weird hop, any kind of weird skip, and it did there. Ended up all the way in left field, and now runners at second and third. That's a double for Gavin Hamovitz.
And I don't even think it hit the bag. It hit like a rock or some hard dirt. You can see Ellis looking at it over there. He's tapping something down there. He's like, what did that hit?
If that didn't hit the bag, yeah, what did that hit? Because the only time you see a ball skip like that is when it hits the bag. So maybe there was a rock or, yeah, like you said, a really hard clump of dirt. But with nobody out here in the top of the fifth and the Crawdads leading by just a run, it's 2-1 Walnut Creek over the Riptide. They have 2 runners in scoring position. Morales over at third, Hamovitz at second. And ball one to Shane Taylor, who's 0 for 2.
Now this becomes a strikeout situation, a non-productive out situation for Fanning. The corners are up, but the middle is back. They'd give up an out for a run.
1-0 pitch, and this should do it. It is very deep, and backing up on his Ben Shoshon, and scoring from third is Morales, and tagging up from second to third is Gavin Hamovitz. It is now 2-2.
So I mentioned how important that shutdown inning was, and now Fanning unable to get that as he gives up a run in the top of the fifth. It would be huge if Fanning were able to strand runner Hamovitz at third now with just 1 out. But a nice piece of hitting there by Shane Taylor to get the ball deep enough.
Oh, here's Santino Pinaro. He's 1 for 2. He had the first hit in today's ball game. Pitch here to Pinaro, misses outside. Count 1-0. The Crawdads took the lead last half inning and quickly give it back up. This pitch outside. just outside the zone there. So no nibbling today for these pitchers. They got to be right over the plate. DeGero sets up outside. The 2-0 pitch, and this is hit high into center. Coleman Schmidt going to take a few steps in. He's gauging how hard he has to throw this. Throws it back into the infield, but it's nowhere near home plate. It's cut off. And another run scores. So it is now 3-2, OC Riptide. They have the lead once again.
And now that ground ball to third that could have been an out had it not hit that rock over there becomes really harmful.
Santino Panaro does his job. A couple of sac flies there for the OC Riptide, and Hamovich just came around to score. It's 3-2, and yeah, maybe tomorrow when the team's out here, or later today if they play today against the Caneo Oaks, as this is hit hard over the head of Jack Ben-Shoshan in left field. It bounces up against the left field wall, and that'll be a double for Dominic Soto, his second double of the game.
Jack Ben-Shoshan just doesn't look super comfortable over in left today. That was a ball that, again, he didn't take the best route on. Not sure he could have caught it, but it did look like if he had cut directly back instead of tried to cut it off on the one hop, that he could have stopped it from getting to the wall.
We've seen Jack Ben-Shoshan in right field as well, and he looks a little more comfortable in right than he does in left. You also have to wonder if these Crawdads aren't used to playing in a left field where you can see the plate.
Yeah, at Monte Vista, you can't. It's so slanted that you can't see home plate from left field.
Now it is 3-2, OC Riptide with 2 down, but Dominic Soto over at second, his second double of the day, and here's Manning, and the first pitch to Manning misses. Crawdads down by a run. They've been out hit today by the Riptide. Big swing and a miss there. I count 1-1.
That was about as late as I've seen anyone this summer on a fastball. Looks like Manning was almost swinging through molasses.
Yeah, it was not on time, and I think he was committed to swing all the way and just way late. The 1-1 pitch, and this is hit into left center. Running on it is Schmidt. He has it for out number 3, but the Crawdads, who came into the top of the 5th with a 1-run lead, are now down by a run themselves. It is 3-2 OC Riptide. You can thank Sacrifice Flies from Taylor and Panaro. If you're a Riptide fan, it is 3-2 Riptide. Bottom of the 5th coming up here on the Crawdad Streaming Network. Bottom of the 5th inning, and Casey Cummings leading off. Time was indicated there by the home plate umpire. Now ready to go. It's 3-2 OC Riptide. The first pitch to Cummings is a fastball that misses. A little bit low, a little bit out. The count 1-0. Back and forth game so far as Cummings takes a big cut but misses. The count 1-1.
The Crawdads would benefit from getting into this bullpen of the Riptide, not just because they're low on arms, but because if they were to see the Riptide later in the series, they'd want them to be low on arms.
1-1 pitch, misses high and misses everything. Doesn't even hit the backstop, hits the screen. The count 2-1. Yeah, they would like to really damage OC Riptide in terms of the number of arms that they have to use. The 2-1 pitch, this misses high. The count 3 balls and a strike to Casey Cummings, who has been just a resurgence for Casey really over the last third of the season, batting in the bottom third of the order. Provided so much value for the Crawdads. A 3-1 pitch, and this misses outside. So having to wait on it there, but fastball that misses out. Casey Cummings is on base with a walk, and the Crawdads, who trail by a run, it's 3-2 OC Riptide. They have a leadoff base runner here.
Always a good start to get a leadoff walk. Leadoff walks seem to score more than any other leadoff anything in baseball. It's just, leadoff walks are so detrimental.
Yeah, leadoff walks, I mean, you're not forcing anybody. You don't even give your defense a chance. So it can definitely be a backbreaker. And now, time indicated once again. Now we're back. Zach Tejero up to bat. And Tejero pops a bunt foul.
I pointed to hey, that's that guy.
Cummings with a small lead off of first. And showing bunt again is Tejero. The Crawdads employing a little bit of small ball here with the number 9 hitter up at the plate, or at least that's what they're trying to do.
Which they never do.
Yeah, it's something they never do unless you're Ryan Ellis, who gets a bunt single. Showing bunt once again is the catcher Tejero. This pitch misses low. Charging in was Blake Penso, the first baseman. So what's going to happen here is Penso's going to charge in. The second baseman, Angel, is going to go cover first. And there's going to be a lot of moving parts here if Tejero shows bunt again, and he does. The pitch, and he pulls it back. And now they count 2 balls and a strike. Also on the other corner, Dominic Soto, the third baseman. He is in there on the infield grass.
When I was calling Oregon softball this year, I always thought of, because there's so much bunting in softball, I always thought of the bunt coverage as like pieces of a puzzle all moving into place.
2-1 pitch, and Tejero does lay it down, but it ends up having a little too much spin on it and curls back. The count 2-2. Tejero with 2 strikes on him. Don't know if he'll show bunt again here. I doubt it, but you never know what you're going to get in the CCL. And he is going to score to bunt. So a risky decision here and a pickoff move trying to get Cummings over at first, but he's back in safely. Crawdads chasing a run to tie it. It's 3-2 Riptide. Tejero at the plate. On deck is Coleman Schmidt. And trying to make this pay off. The 2-2, and Tejero lays down a good bunt right in front of the mound, and now having trouble with it is Schaefer. Tejero is safe over at first, and just calamity for the Riptide there. That'll be an error on the pitcher, Schaefer. That was about as easy as it could be for the Riptide pitcher there, and he just could not get a grip on the ball, and the catcher, Tejero, lays down a decent bunt. It would have been good enough to advance Cummings no matter what happened there, but on the error, he's over at first.
That becomes huge for the Crawdads. That's a play that Schaefer has to make. I think you could see it kind of formulating in his head. Do I go to second with it? Do I go to first? And he started to throw before he had the ball in his hands, and that's the number one thing you have to do when you're fielding your position is you have to get the ball first, and then whatever happens from there happens. But give yourself a chance, and right there, Schaefer didn't.
He almost had too much time on the play there, Austin. Maybe if that ball's bunted a little bit harder straight to him, he's not thinking about it. He just picks it up as quickly as he can and tries to whip one over to first. Now the corner infielders are in here. Penso, the first baseman, in on the grass. and so is Dominic Soto. And the middle infielders now shifting here as the pitch to Schmidt misses. Moving over to his right was the shortstop, Taylor.
I don't know what the Riptide are thinking here. Do they realize this is one of the leaders in home runs? I think if you leave that 5-6 hole open at shortstop, Coleman Schmidt, that's his danger zone. So he just needs to put the ball in play.
I mean, they're trying to cover multiple holes here while also creeping in. 1-0 pitch, and this misses high, and the count 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out here. The Crawdads with a golden opportunity with 2 men on, nobody out, and just trailing by a run.
I just don't know why the Riptide think Coleman Schmidt's going to bunt.
That would be the surprise of the season, I think. Most powerful hitter for the Crawdads. 2-0 pitch. Schmidt takes low and in, and the count 3 balls, no strikes.
But it doesn't matter what he does if he doesn't see a strike, and it seems like Schaefer, who we know has struggled with the walk this summer, pitched really well in the first 3 or 4 frames, and now is starting to lose it a little bit. The walk to Cummings on just 4 pitches, now 3-0 to Schmidt, a couple pitches in the dirt to Tejero.
And then the error as well from Schaefer. The 3-0 pitch to Schmidt, and he lifts the hands there, but that's a strike. That wasn't even close to Schmidt. It was actually on the outer portion of home plate, and he still tried to buy a call. The count 3 balls, a strike. Runners on first and second for the Dads. Cummings over at second, Tejero at first. The 3-1 pitch for Coleman, and he takes a mighty swing, but just foul tips it into the mitt of Mez. But now, even with nobody out, you'd expect the defense to play further back, and they know Coleman Schmidt's not going to bunt. Payoff pitch coming to Schmidt, and stepping off, and that is amazing. And are they going to call that a bunt? Okay.
Yep. He picked his right leg up to make the pitch, and then was trying to do an inside move over to second base and stumbled.
Yeah, you can't do that. And I was going to say, and now he's trying to show the umpires, no, this is what I was doing. And they said, no, we're not buying that. Now there's runners at second and third. So Tejero moves up to second, Cummings over to third. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And if that one wasn't called a balk, Austin, that would be very, very disheartening for the Crawdads here. Payoff pitch to Schmidt, and he swings and misses. Schmidt had to have that. That was a fastball right around the belly there, right around the midsection height-wise for Schmidt, and he just couldn't connect.
From 3-0 to a strikeout, really nice job there by Schaefer on the mound. And if he can get out of this situation, it was second and third, 2 outs, just like Hollis Fanning had. If he can get out of this, that would be huge for the Riptide.
1 down here in the bottom of the 5th. The Crawdads gave up 2 runs in the top half of the inning. They're down 3-2. The first pitch to Corio misses low. The count 1-0. Coleman Schmidt now 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Corio 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop out. But he's ahead 1-0 here. And the corner infielders in once again. A lot of room up the middle. 1-0 pitch. This is low. The count 2 balls, no strikes. Crawdads, if they do win this game, will play against the first-seeded Caneo Oaks at around 2:30 p.m. That's what it's scheduled for. But it all depends how long this ball game goes. It started at 10 a.m. 2-0 pitch to Corio, and he takes low and in. The count 3-0. Schaefer has been missing with regularity here in the 5th.
And really, you don't want to walk Tyson Corio and have to face Ryan Brome, who has the best bat-to-ball skills, not just only on this team, maybe in the entire CCL.
Set is Schaefer, the pitch, 3-0. This misses low and in, and that's exactly what's going to have to happen here now. Schaefer, unless he is taken out, I think that this is what's going to happen. So Looks like Evan Vasilou is going to come in for Schaefer. So Schaefer's going to leave with the bases loaded and Ryan Brome at bat. We're going to hold you through the break here. So Ryan Brome is going to have a chance with just one away here in the bottom of the fifth. It's 3-2 OC Riptide. The book has not been finished yet on Schaefer, but he leaves with 3 men on the base paths, and the Crawdads, I mean, if they were ever going to have a time where they needed to capitalize, where they needed to come through in the clutch, this would be it. So we'll see what Vasilou, the lefty, has here for the Riptide, as he's going to start his warm-ups. But it looked like Schaefer was on Austin for most of his outing, and things just fell apart in the last 2 frames.
Yeah, I thought he had a terrific first 3 innings. The fourth was a little bit of a struggle, and then in this last inning it was just walks and inconsistency, the inability to find the strike zone early in counts, putting him behind and having to come in late. And he was unable to Corio and Cummings. Mix in the Zach Tajero reaching on an error as well as the balk, and just a tough last couple frames for Reed Schaefer.
So Evan Vasilou comes in. He's 2-1 with a 3.55 ERA. He had 10 appearances in the regular season with 7 starts. This will be his first postseason appearance for the Riptide. He's thrown 38 innings, 41 strikeouts, 15 walks, has given up 36 hits, so 51 base runners in 38 innings, but able to keep the ERA below 4, so he's done a decent job of managing that. He has not faced the Crawdads this season. We'll see what the lefty from Cal Irvine can do for the OC Riptide. Unfortunately for the Riptide, head coach Tim Brown, the manager, had to come out and take Schaefer out of the game. And Schaefer, for a guy who had a high ERA and not the best of seasons on the mound, he really did a good job for the Riptide, getting them out in front 3-2. But now with Ryan Brome at the plate and the bases loaded, things could change awfully quick here in San Luis Obispo. Tyson Corio on first, Tajero at second, and Brome hits this high into center field. Is that going to be deep enough? We will see. Going to test the arm of Panaro, and yes, they are. Coming home to score is Casey Cummings. We know he has plenty of speed, and it is now 3-3.
Really nice job by Brome, going after the first pitch, hitting it into center field, getting it just deep enough, and this game's tied.
Casey Cummings, and you mentioned it, Austin, after he walked, it always seems like that's the run that scores. And Casey Cummings drew a walk and then comes around to score with big sac fly from Ryan Brome into center. So 2 down here. Brian DeRoff at the plate. Runners on first and second, and DeRoff fouls this back. The count 0-1. But it is 3-3. Crawdads able to tie it up here in the bottom of the fifth. In the bottom of the fourth, the Crawdads were able to score 2 runs. I'm sure Brian DeRoff would like to put another crooked number up there on the scoreboard. The 0-1 pitch to DeRoff, and this gets by the catcher Mez. Not something you see often out of Gavin. That was a tough pitch to handle. It was spiked down in the dirt, and both runners advanced. So now runners in scoring position for the Crawdads at second and third, and the count 1-1 to Brian DeRoff.
Now a prime opportunity for DeRoff, who we mentioned Brome's bat-to-ball skills. DeRoff's are pretty fantastic as well. He doesn't strike out a ton, and yes, there are 2 outs, but he could put a ball in play here and make things happen.
1-1 pitch, misses outside. Count 2 balls and a strike. So up at third now is Zach Tajero, who reached on a Reed Schaefer error. So really back-to-back at-bats for the Crawdads that the OC Riptide could not afford, as this is jammed foul. Count 2-2, but the walk of Cummings, then the error on Schaefer on a bunt attempt from the catcher Tajero. Then the strikeout of Coleman Schmidt. Corio walked. He's over at second now. And Ryan Brome with the big sac fly for an RBI. And here's DeRoff, the 2-2 pitch, and he swings and misses. Coming out, Vasilou does his job, but The lead is given up. These teams really not comfortable with the lead so far this ball game. They've had a couple of trades, and it is tied 3-3 after 5. Top of the 6th coming up. The Crawdads were able to tie things up, but that's all they got. They leave 2 men stranded at 2nd and 3rd. More Crawdads baseball coming up here on the Crawdads streaming network. Top of the 6th, Blake Penso leading off for the OC Riptide. It's all threes here, 3-3 in San Luis Obispo, and Fanning deals. It's fouled away. The count 0-1. Fanning still on the mound for the Crawdads. He's embarking upon his 6th inning of work. Penso in the box, then Gavin Mez and Anthony Angel, 5, 6, and 7 for the Riptide. 0-1 pitch misses outside. The count 1-1. The Crawdads were just able to tie things up last half inning. And something of note, there wasn't a hit last half inning for the Crawdads. The 1-1 pitch, and this is fought off at the fists and back into the netting. The count 1-2.
It was walk, error, balk, walk, sack fly.
Bach walk.
Balk walk. Craw talk.
Craw talk, Bach walk. Ooh, some playoff craw talks. The 1-2 pitch, and Fanning gets him.
Hard fastball off the outside. Fanning only one. That was only strikeout number 2 for Fanning today, but man, he gets outs. He doesn't need strikeouts.
No, he doesn't have to go hunting the strikeout, and that's one of the great things about Fanning, and I think that's one of the things that makes him so economical on the mound at times is he has no problem inducing bad contact. Now, Mez takes his hacks from the left side, fouls this away. The count 0-1. Working quickly. Fanning looking for the outside black. Doesn't get it with a fastball. The count 1-1.
Fanning still doing pretty well with the pitch count, sitting at 72 pitches right now through 5 1/3.
1-1 pitch with expediency, and this is fouled off. They count 1-2. I like when Fanning gets into this groove where he just gets ball, throws ball.
Yep.
He doesn't take a lot of time. He usually goes with the first sign, and he just lets it rip. The 1-2 pitch, and this is hit right back at Fanning, who has it and throws over to first to get Mez. Nice reactions there from Hollis Fanning on the mound.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's really hard to hit a ball over the head of Hollis Fanning. That time, I mean, most pitchers, I think it might have gotten over him, but he's able to stick the glove up right at the face and make the play.
Had to protect the good looks there at Hollis Fanning. There's 2 down now, 3-3. It's all tied up between the Crawdads and the Riptide. And here's Anthony Angel. Pitch to Angel. That's in there for a strike. The count 0-1. Hitting the low outside quadrant there was Fanning. Angel 0 for 2. And with that ground out, Gavin Mez now 1 for 3 as a big swing and a miss there. And the count 0-2. Crawdads were able to tie things up. They want to get back to bat as quickly as possible. The 0-2 is fought off, though, and the count stays 0-2.
Fanning right there said, give me the fastball. Give me it up. We'll see what we can do with it. Busted the fastball in on the hands, but nice job to stay alive.
0-2 pitch misses low and in, and the count 1-2. Fanning, I think this might be the quickest we've seen him work all season. High glove set, now he goes, and this is popped up high on the infield dirt. Coming in as the shortstop Calvillo. Maybe tapped his cleat against the second base bag momentarily there, but he's so cool that he made the catch anyway. And that's a 3rd out. So after 5.5, it is tied 3-3. Crawdads will be up to bat in the bottom of the 6th when we return here on the Crawdad Streaming Network. Cam Calvillo going to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th. It's 3-3, and Calvillo leads it off in high fashion. Ropes one into left, and that's a leadoff single for the Crawdads.
How many times do I have to mention how good Cam Calvillo is at this game?
I keep mentioning it because he keeps doing things like that. I mean, that first pitch from Vasilou, and he just takes it, pulls it to left, and he's over on first, and he's got a lot of speed, so Jack Ben-Shoshan has an opportunity to do some damage here. Calvillo on first, Ben-Sho in the box, on deck, Ryan Ellis.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Calvillo with that hit is no longer hitless. He's 1 for 3. Vasilou taking a long time here. 1-0. Ben-Sho pops this up high in right field. Running on it is Manning, and now he has it for out number 1.
So what I was saying about Cam Calvillo is selfishly I really like when he plays well because he always shouts the two of us out in Twitter when we say good things about him.
Oh.
So he's about 3 or 4 times this year. Appreciate the words from the Crawdads.
He's a team player. We'll keep saying good things about you, Cam.
Keep playing well.
Mr. Calvillo. Although I did point out that when you caught a pop-up, you stumbled on second base.
But then you called him cool, so it evened out.
But he was cool. I mean, that was cool. I would have blown my ankle out doing that. Here's Ryan Ellis, and Ellis waves and misses. The count 0-1 with one away. 3-3 here in San Luis Obispo on what is just a perfect day for baseball. About 77 degrees now. Couple of puffy clouds in the skies. 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed. And no wind. No wind to speak of, which is just great. Ryan Ellis, couple of hits and an RBI. Also had a crucial rundown that scored Ben Show in the fourth. 0-2 pitch, and Ellis swings and misses. That one down and away, and not the at-bat that Ryan Ellis wanted to have.
I don't know if I've seen Ryan Ellis taking a bat like that this entire summer. He was just completely fooled by that really good Vasilou slider. Set him down on 3 pitches.
Yeah, I agree with you, Austin. I don't think we've seen an at-bat that bad from Ryan Ellis this season. That is an aberration. Oh, here's Casey Cummings. First pitch to Cummings misses away. The righty Cummings against the lefty Vasilou. A lot of righty bats in this lineup today for the Crawdads. Although you do have the switch hitting Corio, so you can go either way. 1-0 pitch to Casey, and he hits this hard into center field, and it drops off the end of the bat. And it looked like that had much more velocity off the bat than it actually did. Just kind of died right there. So a little soft liner out there into center, and that's a single for Casey Cummings.
I think probably better even that it didn't have much more velocity on it, because then Panero would have been able to come in and make the catch.
Runners at first and second. A couple of hits here in the bottom of the sixth for the Crawdads. Calvillo led things off with a single. He's over at second now. And the number 8 hitter, Casey Cummings, with a base knock of his own, he's over at first. And here's Zach Tejero, who reached in his last at-bat on a bunt attempt. It ended up being an error on the pitcher, Schaefer. Pitch to Tejero. He swings in, misses. And speaking of Schaefer, now that the line is final on him, we can relay that information to you. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, faced 20. 0-1 pitch, and Tejero takes, and the count 0-2.
He was very good. Reed Schaefer was very, very good today. I think he would have maybe assumed that Vasilou would have started today. He started more games, has a lower ERA, but Schaefer getting that game 1 start, and he performed.
0-2 pitch to Tejero, and this, a breaking ball that nearly comes up and hits him, and Tejero ducks out of the way. Count a ball and 2 strikes. No intent there. It was just a breaker that Vasilou didn't have control on. Small leads from the runners. Looking back to second is Vasilou. Now he fires, and checking his swing wisely is Tejero. That slider, but it was high and away. Probably above the belt there, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tejero has had a solid season at the plate. 2-2 pitch, and he swings and misses. The Crawdads strand 2 runners. They do get a couple of base hits from Calvillo and Cummings, but that is all. It is still tied 3-3, top of the 7th. Coming up here, Austin Oda back on the play-by-play on the Crawdads streaming network.
Welcome back to Sinsheimer Park in beautiful San Luis Obispo. 3-3 is the score in the top of the 7th inning. Along to say it took you through innings 4 through 6. Austin Oda back with you for the rest of the way. Hollis Fanning still on the mound for the Crawdads, with the game all tied up at 3 apiece. He'll be facing Isaiah Morales to lead it off, Gavin Hamovitz, and then Shane Taylor.
Leading out for the Riptide, number 24, Isaiah Morales.
Morales having a good start to his day. He's 1 for 2 at the dish, has brought in a run, though it was on an error. But he's put the ball in play hard twice. Fanning trying to retire him for the first time. He deals up high with the fastball, 1-0.
Fanning sitting at 55 strikes and 25 balls.
He deals a strike. Swinging was Morales off the outside, 1-1.
And this is really the Fanning that we've become accustomed to this season for the Crawdads.
The 1-1. Morales takes a little low, 2-1.
And it's funny, too, because he does say, you know, every once in a while I have to mix in a ball there. I can't throw all strikes.
As the 2-1 is another ball outside, 3-1. But he also doesn't want to walk the leadoff hitter. It's 3-1 to Morales. Fanning yet to walk a batter today. The 3-1 is fouled off, 3-2.
Another leadoff walk. Definitely hurt the Riptide back in the 5th.
Count is full to Isaiah Morales, the DH. Fanning deals a tapper foul. Just staying alive is Morales, and the count stays full at 3-2.
DH Morales has been productive today for the Riptide. It's always interesting when you see the DH batting all the way in the 8th spot.
The 3-2 lined into right center. Hustling over is Schmidt, but it falls in front of him for a base hit. Morales, an aggressive turnaround first, but Schmidt gets it into the cutoff man, Corio. And Morales is having a very nice day. Now he's 2 for 3, has reached base 3 times.
Schmidt did a very good job there of tracking that ball accurately. He knew where it was going to fall, and he realized probably about a quarter of the way through his run that he wasn't going to get to it. So his goal was just to cut it off and get it back into the infield immediately. And good on him for keeping Morales just to 1, even though that was a hard hit ball into the gap.
Here's Gavin Hamovitz, 1 for 2 today. First pitch is just a little low, ball 1. 3 runs on 8 hits and an error for the OC Riptide. 3 runs on 6 hits and an error for the Crawdads. Both of those errors have netted a run. 1-0 to Hamovitz in left field today. Infield double play depth. The 1-0 just off the outside, 2-0.
You just wonder what it's going to take for either of these teams to take control of the ball game. No team has really wanted to yet. I mean, of course they want to, but no team has done that.
Pickoff move back in safely is Morales ahead of the throw. It's 2-0 to Gavin Hamovitz. Hollis Fanning, though he does have a good pickoff move for his size, he also does have a high leg kick, making it a little easier for guys to run. The 2-0 is a little low, 3-0. 2 straight 3-ball counts for Fanning, with the top of the order waiting on deck. The dangerous Shane Taylor. Fanning looks back to first. Pickoff move, but in safely again is Morales. 3-0 still to Hamovitz.
This might be a spot where Fanning wants to take a little bit off the cutter here. Maybe try to get a ground ball.
3-0 is right down the middle. It did go to the fastball, and it's 3-1. No one warming up in the Crawdads bullpen yet. Gabe Tanner's in there, but not throwing yet. 3-1 to Hamovitz. Fanning deals a fastball down low, ball 4. First walk of the day for Hollis Fanning, and it'll call for a mound visit by Zach Tajero.
I don't think anything was wrong with any of the signals there between the two. I think it was just Fanning missing his location, and it also looks like manager Brant Cummings is on his way to the mound as well.
Brant Cummings taking the slow walk from the third base dugout. It'll just be Brant Cummings, Zach Tajero, and Hollis Fanning. Ryan Brome starts walking over, but he will not join the conversation. Brant Cummings back quickly out, back towards the dugout.
That was probably the quickest conversation of all time. Fanning was probably already telling Manager Cummings as he was out there, making his way out there, I'm good. I just missed, and I'll get right back after it.
And he's got to prove it here. Hollis Fanning does like that prove-it situation. He's a high-pressure guy, and he'll be facing the top of the lineup after 2 straight base runners. Shane Taylor, 0 for 2 today, does have a run batted in, also struck out once, hit a sac fly in his last at-bat over to left field. The corners come in, trying to protect the bunt. First pitch, Taylor takes inside 1-0.
Adjustable works good.
One and 0 to Taylor. He fouls back, 1-1.
And the good thing for Fanning out here today is the defense, the infield defense has been stellar for the Crawdads, as you see Brome creeping in on the right side and Ellis on the left. But they're just so good. They're working in rhythm, this entire infield, that a ground ball you almost figure would be a double play, no doubter.
1-1. He shows the bunt. He gets it down, but it's foul. Third base side, back near the Crawdads dugout. A big strike, too, for Hollis Fanning.
It always amazes me that you get into playoff baseball and all of a sudden teams are bunting. And it didn't happen all regular season pretty much for the Crawdads, or really against a lot of the teams they played. And we've seen multiple bunts now.
The Riptide did have 7 sack bunts this year. 1 and 2 to Taylor. Fanning looks back the runner on second and delivers a cutter off the outside, 2 and 2. Now Gabe Tanner starting to get loose in the Crawdads bullpen. Starting to throw a little bit. Fanning now up to 96 pitches. 2 and 2 to Taylor. Sets under the belt and fires. A line drive into left center. That's going to drop in front of Ben Shoshan. Coming around third is the runner. He'll score, and it's 4-3. No throw. 4-3 Riptide on the RBI single by Shane Taylor.
Well, Morales able to get things started in this top of the 7th here, and Hollis Fanning, I mean, maybe misses location, but really it was just a really good piece of hitting by Shane Taylor. There was nothing that the Crawdads could do about it.
Here's Santino Panaro with the Crawdads needing an out. 4-3 the score, top of the 7th, no outs, with Hamovitz on second and Taylor on first. Panaro's 1 for 2 today with a sac fly in his last at-bat. First pitch, showing bunt is Panaro. He takes ball 1 outside, 1-0.
All to one side.
Just feel if this team can get out number 1, then some of the pressure is relieved, and also gives Gabe Tanner a little more time to get ready, you would figure.
The 1-0. Lined right to Corio. He snags it, throws back to first. Not in time. Brome couldn't keep his foot on the bag. Almost a miraculous double play for the Crawdads, but instead just a hard out number 1.
Corio looked immediately back to second to try to get that ball to Calvillo, who had a long way to go to get over to second as well. I mean, Hamovitz, he got back to second a lot quicker than Shane Taylor did over to first. I think if Corio got a do-over on that, not that he did anything wrong on the play, it was a great play by Corio, he would have immediately gone to first.
Here's Dom Soto. First pitch, up high, 1-0. Fanning now at the 100-pitch mark. So this almost definitely is last inning. 1-0 to Soto. Fanning fires. Soto takes just a little low with a big curveball. 2-0.
Keep checking over at the bullpen to see how fast Tanner's warming up, and now it looks like he's starting to get more into it.
Fanning to Soto, who's 2 for 3 today. Called strike 1 just on the outside. The first time we've seen that call since Cam Calvillo earlier today, and it's 2-1.
Yes. First time that it seems Hollis Fanning has gotten that call, and I think he's earned it. I think both pitchers, the starters today, earned some calls that maybe they didn't get.
The 2-1. Soto, line drive to center. Schmidt comes in hard, but he'll make the catch. About 30 feet from the infield dirt for the second out of the inning.
Good read there by Coleman Schmidt out in center. And we saw a little soft liner last time the Crawdads were up at bat and Pinaro wasn't able to get to, but Coleman Schmidt, a perfect read, and went to an all-out sprint to go get that one. And all of a sudden, Hollis Fanning seems to have settled himself back down.
He's got to get through Nathan Manning, who's 0 for 3 today from the left side, with runners on first and second. First pitch to Manning. Grounded to second. Corio will flip to Calvillo on the second base bag in time. And a nice job by Hollis Fanning to just allow the 1 run, though that is the go-ahead run. He had bottom 7, 4-3 the score. The Crawdads needing runs here on the Crawdad Streaming Network. Bottom of the 7th inning, 4-3 now the score. The Crawdads trail, but they've come back a couple times already today. Down 1-0, they scored 2. Down 3-2, they scored 1 to tie it, and now they trail 4-3 with the top of their lineup coming up. Still Evan Vassalou on the mound. He'll be facing Coleman Schmidt, Tyson Corio, and Ryan Brome. Schmidt is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today. First pitch to Schmidt is a big off-speed pitch that misses up high, 1-0. Schmidt 0 for 2, a pair of strikeouts today, looking to put the ball in play for the first time. He has a lot of strikeouts this summer. The 1-0 is right there on the outside, 1-1. Vassalou has done a good job of pounding the strike zone, a 2-to-1 strike-to-ball ratio as of now, 14 strikes to 7 balls. The 1-1. Schmidt hits a high fly ball to center. Pinaro going back in right center. Now it's carrying up against the wall on a hop. Schmidt turns around second, starts to head for third, but he'll head back to second. The throw is not in time. And Coleman Schmidt, a booming double to right center. That ball just kept carrying and carrying. Pinaro shaded in to start, just had to sprint back. A phenomenal defender out there, but Coleman Schmidt got just enough of it. A really good start to the inning for Walnut Creek. Here's Tyson Corio. Corio 0 for 2 today, a strikeout and a walk. And a mound visit between the catcher Gavin Mez and Evan Vasilou. 4-3 the score here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Crawdads, though, threatening. Coleman Schmidt a double to lead off the inning, and the Crawdads are in business. Corio still hitting from the right side. First pitch, Corio takes on the outside, called strike 1.
It's exactly what the Crawdads needed after giving up the tie break again.
The 0-1. Corio takes in the dirt, ball 1. The Riptide do have Matthew Maloney warming up in the bullpen, who might be the best pitcher in the CCL. Here's Tyson Corio in a 1-1 count. Ryan Brome on deck, Schmidt on second. The Crawdads trail by 1. The 1-1. Corio taps it to the right side. Up with it, the second baseman. He'll throw to first in time, but Coleman Schmidt moved it up to third.
Productive out there. Now you've made the argument numerous times. Maybe that should be classified as a sacrifice, but I think with nobody out, a runner on second, at the very least, what you want to do is move that guy over, and not a bad option here with Ryan Brome, who is probably going to put the bat on the ball.
Brome is 1 for 2 today, has an RBI hit a sac fly his last time up. Vasilou's going to work from the windup. First pitch, Brome flies it to left field. Hamovitz under it, makes the catch. Schmidt comes home. He scores without a throw, and this game, once again, is all tied up. Nice job by Ryan Brome.
A great job by Bromer there, and once again, just exactly what you said. Once again, this game is tied up, so it seems like it's going to be this way all the way down to the wire. It started out this way, and we're already in the 7th, and it's still, I mean, this game has not changed. It is tied, and both these teams just can't seem to break away from the other.
It actually is not Matthew Maloney, as the first pitch to Daroff is lined right to third. Soto on a jump snags it for out number 3, but the Crawdads tie the game up at 4 apiece. Top of the 8th when we come back here on the Crawdad Streaming Network. Top of the 8th inning, a tie ball game in game 1 of the CCL playoffs. The playoffs are living up to their expectations. The new pitcher for the Crawdads, the big righty Gabe Tanner, the CCL All-Star, making his 10th appearance of the summer. He is 4-3 with a 5.19 ERA, but he is just coming off his best performance easily of the summer, where he went 6 shutout innings out of the bullpen to keep Healdsburg at bay. And really, that was one of the biggest moments of the season, was Gabe Tanner pitching well at Healdsburg, and he'll try to do the same thing here coming out of the bullpen. Blake Penso, Gavin Mez, and Anthony Angel. Penso 1 for 3 with a strikeout today. First pitch of the game for Gabe Tanner is a hard fastball that runs inside, 1-0. The final line of the day for Hollis Fanning, 7 innings, 3 earned runs, 9 hits, a pair of strikeouts, and a walk. He was great. The 1-0. Chopper to third, past the glove of Ellis and into left field for a base hit. So a good start for the Riptide.
Good pitch there from Gabe Tanner, just out of the reach of Ryan Ellis. And you know, we've seen Gabe at times really getting eaten up out there when he allows runners on, but you hope that he figures in his own head that, no, I made a good pitch there, and most of the time that goes our way. Our way being Gabe thinking about the Crawdads.
Here's Gavin Mez, 1 for 3 today. Penso now 2 for 4. Mez grounded into a double play already today. First pitch is low. Tanner trying to get that same result. He would absolutely take a double play ball here. 1-0 to Mez. Pickoff move. Back in standing is Penso. Penso, not a ton of speed on first. A small lead. The 1-0. Mez, grounder to first. Brome bobbles it. He will have to just go to first. Tanner covering. Taps the bag and makes the play. But Penso moves up to second.
Bad break there for Brome. It wasn't that he did anything wrong. That ball was just hit with a whole ton of power there, and it was right to him. Had he gotten it, it looked like it would have been a for sure double play there for the Crawdads defense. They would have been able to turn it, but they do get an out, and that's one of the reasons why it's so important to just put good contact on the baseball, that even if it's an out, things can happen.
Here's Anthony Angel, the second baseman, who's 0 for 3. Crawdads looking to hold him at that 0 for, with Isaiah Morales waiting on deck. The first pitch is a fastball right there, 0-1.
Looks like Gabe has just a few extra ounces of juice today in that fastball.
0-1. Slider that misses tight, 1-1. Penso, the runner on second, the potential go-ahead runner, with this game tied up at 4 in the top of the 8th. Tanner looks him back, looks again, and deals. Fastball swung on and missed, 1-2.
Fastball looks lively from Tanner. Might as well keep pumping it in there, and if Angel's going to chase high, maybe go a little higher.
1-2 to Angel, 0 for 3 today. Penso on second, a very important runner. The 1-2. Angel stays alive, chops it just foul past third, a breaker on the inside. Nice job by Angel.
And a good sequence there from Tanner. Blows a fastball by him, then tries to front door him with something that's not a fastball, and now he has options here. He can go low and away. He can go high with the fastball.
Tajero sets down and away. The 1-2. Fastball just low. 2-2.
And they might go after that same location with a slider, although we've seen Tanner against Angel back him up with the slider.
The 2-2. High pop-up on the infield. Big league pop-up. Who's going to get it? Tajero calls for it and settles under it to make the catch. That's a play he's had so much trouble with this year. But in the biggest game of the season, a big out number 2 from Zach Tajero.
It looked kind of dicey there for a moment as Tajero flipped the mask off, and he doesn't have sunglasses on. He had to shade his eyes, but he was able to track that ball. And it's tough because it's bright out here, but there's also white clouds in the sky as well. So just a nice job by Tajero with a play that he has had trouble with.
Here's Isaiah Morales, who has been maybe the most difficult lineup player in either lineup. Morales 2 for 3 has brought in a run on a error, but has also reached base 2 other times, has scored 2 runs. First pitch, Morales takes down low with the slider, 1-0. In his last at bat, he punched a ball into right center for a base hit and then came around to score. 4-4 in the top of the 8th. Tanner sets at the belt, looks back Penso, and deals. A fastball low, squirts past Tajero, gets all the way to the backstop, and Penso moves up to third.
It's a tough pitch to handle, but that's one of the ones where Tajero just has to get his body in front of it and close the wickets there and just make sure it does not get through him.
Tanner is now able to work from the windup, if he elects to do so. He does seem more comfortable from there, and that's exactly what he's going to do with a runner on third and 2 outs. The 2-0. Line drive up the middle, base hit. It gets by Tanner, and once again, Isaiah Morales comes through. 5-4 Riptide.
Been the toughest out all day, and the wild pitch comes back to bite Gabe Tanner and the Crawdads, and he pounded the glove there as well. Tanner has made good pitches so far out of the bullpen, but that ground ball just right by him.
Here's Gavin Hamovitz. We'll see how much juice the Crawdads bats have left in them after coming back 3 times already today. First pitch, Hamovitz takes called strike 1 on the outside with a fastball, 0-1. Hamovitz 1 for 2 with a double today. Has scored a run. The 0-1. Hamovitz leaves the slider in the dirt, 1-1. Have yourself a day, Isaiah Morales. 3 for 4. Has brought in 2 runs, has reached base 4 times. It's a guy that came in hitting 125. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase on a slider, 1-2.
That's just how postseason baseball works sometimes. You get performances out of the least of likely players, and that's a perfect example right there with Isaiah Morales, the number 8 hitter. I mean, whoever thinks that the 8 or 9 hitter is going to be their most productive?
Tanner's 1-2 pitch is chopped to short. Calvillo on 2 hops goes the short way to second with Corio covering for the 3rd out. But the Riptide take a 5-4 lead on Isaiah Morales' 3rd hit of the day. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Crawdads will have Calvillo, Ben Shoshan, and Ellis due up when we come back here on the Crawdad Streaming Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Crawdads now trail once again 5-4. A new pitcher for the OC Riptide. It's the righty Miles Rothfarb out of Cal State San Bernardino. Rothfarb making his first appearance for the Riptide, and what a first appearance it would be if he were to be able to come in and potentially give him a 6-out save. But he'll be facing Cam Calvillo, Ben Shoshan, and then Ryan Ellis.
Yeah, you wonder now if Maloney's ever going to make an appearance for the Riptide, and maybe the plan is to save him for the 9th.
We will see. Miles Rothfarb last season at Cal State San Bernardino pitched in 6 games, had a 12.79 ERA in 6 1/3 innings with a lot of walks. First pitch from Cam Calvillo is lined into right field, hard but foul.
All right, kids, that one is off limits. I'm going to leave that one be.
Calvillo today 1 for 3, hit a single in his last at bat. The 0-1. Calvillo lines this one into right center, coming in hard, Manning, and he will make the catch for out number 1.
Just tailing away there, further and further to the right, and at first off the bat, it looked like it had a possibility of dropping in the gap, and if it does, you figure Calvillo end up on second, but just tailed away.
So here's Jack Ben Shoshan, the left fielder, who's 1 for 2 with a walk today. He's had a nice day at the plate. Also scored a run on that wild pickle. First pitch to Ben Show. He squares to bunt, but a breaking ball is over everything. And I mean everything.
Gonna have a tough time bunting that one.
1-0. Rothfarb, a long right-handed pitcher, delivers. Ben Shoshan takes outside, ball 2.
So watch out up high, and Rothfarb misses way outside. Now Ben Show might be thinking, I hope he doesn't come in.
The 2-0, way outside, 3-0. So Ben Shoshan likely has red light all the way. With Ryan Ellis waiting on deck, 5-4 the score, bottom of the 8th inning in Game 1 of the CCL playoffs. The 3-0. Ben Shoshan takes in the dirt, ball 4. Second walk of the day for Jack Ben Shoshan, and he'll hand the bat to Ryan Ellis.
Mixed bag here so far for Rothfarb. And he gave up pretty good contact to Calvillo, then misses everything to Ben Show. And now he has to deal with Ellis, who has the handedness advantage on him as well.
Ellis 2 for 3 today, also struck out in his last at bat. Like you mentioned, bats from the left side. First pitch, Ellis takes down low, ball 1. So 5 straight balls from Miles Rothfarb. It's 1-0 to Ryan Ellis. Jack Ben Shoshan on first. We'll see if the Crawdads have any idea of sending him. Pickoff move in safely is Ben Shoshan. Likely not with Gavin Mez, a very good catcher behind the plate.
I think a point of emphasis today for the OC Riptide has been being aggressive with these pickoff moves.
The 1-0. Ellis takes called strike 1. Ben Shoshan does have very good speed, a lot of athleticism on first. 1-1 to Ellis. Pickoff move. Ben Shoshan back in safely again.
It just seems like the Riptide are doing everything they can to make sure that the Crawdads don't get their very strong running game going.
1-1 to Ellis. He fouls it back. Straight back, 1-2. The Conejo Oaks have now arrived. They're all in their Oaks tops over to our left, past the third base side. I see those famed Oregon athlete backpacks. I see a couple of them. Some of my favorite players on that Oregon team. I'm geeking out a little bit here. Trying to stay calm. 1-2 to Ryan Ellis. Rothfarb deals. Ellis takes down low. 2-2.
This is a hitter's zone all the way today. I can really be selective and not have to overprotect in situations, and that's just fine and dandy for a guy like Ryan Ellis.
Rothfarb looking for his first strikeout of the day. The 2-2. Ellis lines this one into left. Coming on is Hamovitz, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Ellis hits it hard, but right into the pocket of Gavin Hamovitz.
A couple of hard hit balls. Calvillo, now Ellis, but that's the way baseball works sometimes. No result, no positive result, that is, from either of those balls that were struck. And it does give Casey Cummings an opportunity here. He's been very good for the Crawdads.
Cummings, another hit today. First pitch misses low, 1-0. Cummings now 11 for his last 15. Looking for a big 2-out hit with Ben Shoshan on first, the 1-0. Cummings takes down and in, 2-0.
Maybe this is the formula, not a great formula for Rothfarb. Get a fly out, walk a guy, get a line out, walk a guy maybe.
2-0. Cummings takes down low, 3-0. Now Matthew Maloney starts warming up in the bullpen. The big righty. But for now, all eyes on Rothfarb and Cummings. The 3-0. At the base of the strike zone on the inner quadrant. 3-1. With the 2-out jump for Jack Ben Shoshan, a ball in the gap likely ties the game up. But a pickoff move, and he's back in safely as Jack Ben Shoshan. 3-1 to Casey Cummings.
They're so adamant about not letting these runners ever get comfortable, and that is admirable out of the Riptide.
The 3-1 to Cummings, and he takes down low ball 4. So 2 base runners in the inning for Walnut Creek, and they'll send Zach Tajero to the plate. Now in visit between Gavin Mez and Miles Rothfarb.
This would be a spot at a juncture in the game where if the Crawdads were deeper, say they had their full roster, maybe their roster from about a week ago, even 2 weeks ago, heck, even maybe a few days ago, that they might pitch hit. And
That's exactly what they're going to do.
Oh.
Here's Joey Donnelly, the pinch hitter today. Gives the Crawdads a lot more power from the left side. Donnelly, 210 average, 4 home runs, 19 RBI.
Donnelly can catch, so he's going to have to catch now.
Most likely, yeah. Donnelly, a lot of power from the left side. Man out of Cal. The runner on second, Ben Shoshan. The runner on first, Cummings. Good speed both ways. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch. Donnelly takes down low, ball 1. Donnelly, with the lack of catching depth that the Crawdads have this tournament, we will likely see Joey Donnelly catch. 1-0 to Donnelly. Rothfarb. 1-0. Donnelly lines it into center. Panaro coming in. He makes the catch on the run for out number 3. A really nice play. The Crawdads see the ball well against Rothfarb, but don't get any hits. A pair of walks and a trio of hard hit balls sends us to the top of the 9th. Still a 1-run ball game here on the Crawdad Streaming Network. Top of the 9th inning, a one-run ball game. What more could you ask for in the opening game of the CCL playoffs?
That's been pretty incredible so far. Both teams have traded the lead a few times, and the Crawdads find themselves on the wrong end of it right now, down by a run, but we know how good this team is late. They have had a number of walk-off victories, but they're going to have to make sure they only have to chase one. So it's incumbent upon them to get through a scoreless top of the 9th here.
Joey Donnelly moves behind the plate. And it's still Gabe Tanner on the mound. Tanner to face the top of the lineup, Shane Taylor, Santino Panaro, and Dom Soto. Shane Taylor 1 for 3 with a pair of runs batted in today. He has been a impact player. First pitch. Taylor takes just off the outside, ball 1. The Riptide have the ultimate wild card waiting in their bullpen. We'll see if Matthew Maloney comes in the game. The 1-0. Taylor takes up high, 2-0. We'll see if the Riptide want to stick with Rothfarb on the mound, or if they want to save Maloney for the game against the Oaks that's potentially coming up, as Tanner is able to find the strike zone with a 2-0, 2-1.
Even though you can play with fire by saving a guy, they might want to use him because Rothfarb has given up hard contact.
2-1 is a slider just outside, 3-1. You never want to walk the leadoff hitter of an inning. Tanner in danger of doing so here. The 3-1. Lined into left field, Ben Shoshan hustling towards the line, makes the catch for the first out.
A little tentative there on that play out there in left field for Ben Show. He kind of started getting into his gate, then slowed up, then started up again. He read it all the way, but he's had some tough plays to make out there today. That one probably his best attempt so far, and he got the job done.
So now the two hitters, Santino Panaro. Today, Panaro 1 for 3, an RBI. The top of this lineup has driven in 3 runs. First pitch to Panaro is up high, ball 1. Tanner shakes his head no, now fires a chopper to second base. Corio fumbles it, recovers, and can't recover. He bobbled it twice and then a third time and was unable to handle the ball, and a free base runner for the Riptide.
Corio, I guess you could say he was due for an error. It's been a while, but since we've seen a play like that where he just hasn't had it, that is very uncharacteristic of Tyson out there. He's shaking his head. But Gabe Tanner just going to have to try to roll up 2 here.
Here's Dom Soto, 2 for 4 today, the third place hitter. First pitch, high fly ball to left field, foul territory by the Crawdads bullpen, and into the Crawdads bullpen. 0-1.
Could see that Soto is trying to make the decision on whether to use Maloney or not for manager Tim Brown. Real easy there. He was trying to change this game with one swing of the bat.
0-1 to Dom Soto. The Crawdads looking for a double play ball to get them out of the inning. Top of the 9th, 5-4 the score. The Crawdads trail. The 0-1, runner goes. Called strike 2. The throw to second is just a little late. In to second is Panaro. And that ball was actually called a ball. Looked pretty good to me. But it's 1-1.
It looked good from here. I figured that was a strike all the way, but called a ball. Decent throw there from Donnelly. Just good wheels out there for Santino, and he's over at second. And now this is the point of the game where the Crawdads have to get an out. It almost doesn't matter if Santino makes it to third. You just need to get an out here.
Panaro still yet to be thrown out, trying to steal a base this summer. Now 17 for 17. The 1-1 to Soto. Flied to right field. Shallow, Cummings towards the line, but it drops into the bullpen. Tanner looking for strikeout number 1. He's given up a run. It was earned. It came in the last inning. Trying to strand the runner on second, Panaro.
Could be fortuitous for the Crawdads that ball ultimately dropped out of play, because if they do catch it, you figure Panaro's going to tag up to third. Now a chance for a strikeout.
The 1-2. Soto grounds it into the hole in left field. Then Shoshan up with it. Panaro's going to come home. The throw to the plate is way late and high, and it's 6-4.
Now the Tyson Corio error bites the Crawdads in the worst way. And one of the biggest games of the season, the biggest game of their season by far.
27, Nathan Manning.
6-4 now. Nathan Manning, the hitter. Manning 0 for 4 today. First pitch. Manning takes, called strike one on the outside, 0-1. 6-4 now the score. The Crawdads trail in the top of the ninth, needing another miracle. They've had about a billion of them so far this summer, looking for number 1,000,001. The 0-1. Manning takes just outside, ball one.
Call has not been there today, but that's a strike probably about 90% of the time in every other game in the CCL. But cannot complain about the zone. It's been very consistent.
The 1-1. Big slider up high, 2-1. Two balls and one strike to Nathan Manning, who's one of just two players that are 0 for in this Riptide lineup. Tanner fires, the runner goes. Chopper, first base side. Brome has it and runs it to the bag for out number 2. With Soto running on the play, there was no chance to get him at second, but now there's 2 outs.
It's a good decision to put Soto in motion there. Keeps them out of a double play, and they still have a chance here with a runner in scoring position to add on a little bit more. They lead by 2. They'd love to be up by 3, and they probably wouldn't use Maloney if they were up by 3.
Here's Blake Penso, 2 for 4 today, an RBI. Excuse me, a run scored, also a strikeout. Just 2 strikeouts all day for the Riptide. They've done a very good job of putting the ball in play. First pitch to Penso is a slider that's called strike one. Front doored him, and it's 0-1.
Looks like Tanner has been more comfortable with the slider starting into righties and then keeping it inside rather than going low and outside with it.
Tanner. The 0-1. Popped up, right side, foul. 0-2.
All right, young man in the Cal Poly hat is going to take that.
Never wanted to catch a foul ball. This would be the place to do it, Austin.
I've been waiting for one today. I've been waiting for him this summer. 0-2 to Blake Penso with a runner on second. That's Dom Soto. Tanner trying to keep this at just a 2-run deficit. The 0-2. Strike 3 swinging. Gets by Donnelly. There's going to be no throw to first. A 2-out drop third strike. And the Riptide have runners on the corners.
That is the inexperience behind the plate this summer of Joey Donnelly just showing itself right there, rearing its ugly head. And swing and a miss, a huge situation there for Gabe Tanner to try to get a strikeout to get the Crawdads up, down by just 2. But the inning, the top of the ninth, that is, it continues here. And I don't know if DeGero would have had that ball, but Donnelly just was not able to keep it in front of him.
Here's Gavin Mez, 1 for 4 today is Mez with runners at the corners now. 6-4 ball game. First pitch popped up, back behind the screen, 0-1.
If you go out there, be careful, but if you can track it down, you can take it home. Courtesy of Kevin De La Flores and Western Residential Solutions.
No balls and 1 strike to Gavin Mez, the backstop today. Long pause from Tanner. The 0-1. Chopper to second. Choreo has it, flips to second. Just in time, Calvillo covers. Had to wait a little bit to make sure, but he did get him. An unearned run comes back to haunt the Crawdads. 6-4 Riptide when we come back. The bottom of the 9th inning. Schmidt, Choreo, Brome. Do the Crawdads have more magic on them? We'll see. Crawdad Streaming Network when we come back. Bottom of the 9th inning, the Crawdads have walked it off 5 times already this summer, looking for number 6 against the OC Riptide in Game 1 of the playoffs, but they'll have to face maybe the best pitcher in the entire CCL, and Matthew Maloney, the man that is coming into the game out of New Mexico State, is 4-0 with an 0.25 ERA. He started the first 6 games of the summer and then had an arm injury where he was unable to really compete in more than a 1-inning basis, but has turned into maybe the best closer in the entire CCL. 55 strikeouts in 35 innings to just 10 walks. 1 earned run given up this whole summer, and that was all the way back on June 14th against the Academy Barons.
Tough sledding, an uphill battle for the Crawdads for sure, and one of many tough closers that they've had to face this season, whether it was Nick Proctor or Franks with the Healdsburg Prune Packers and other tough arms out of the bullpen like Elijah Birdsong, and now they have to deal with Maloney.
Matthew Maloney, the big righty, will be facing the top of the order. The Crawdads need a base runner, and then they'll start thinking about having some fun. The good news for the Crawdads is this is a double elimination tournament, and were they to fall in this one, they will at least have another game. That would be tomorrow morning. But they want to play again today. Coleman Schmidt to lead it off. He, in his last at-bat, hit a booming double off the right center field fence. Like I said, the Crawdads just need 1 runner, and then they'll start thinking about it. First pitch to Schmidt is a big curveball called strike 1. Maloney goes straight over the top with his release.
He looks like a big leaguer too. He's in the squat. He's ready to go.
Kimbrel-esque. 0-1. Schmidt takes called strike 2, a hard fastball on the outside, and it's 0-2. "55 strikeouts and 35 innings for Matt Maloney, looking for number 56 here. He deals. Schmidt strikes out swinging. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Coleman Schmidt, and Matthew Maloney looks like he is on top of his game.
It's going to be very, very difficult for the Crawdads. One good thing, a positive that they do get, is they get to have Tyson Choreo bat lefty here, but I mean, the way Maloney looks, seems like he can go curveball, fastball at will right now.
Tyson Choreo 0 for 3 today with a walk and a strikeout. First pitch, Choreo off his fist, over to shortstop slowly. Taylor up with it, throws low to first, but Penso digs it out. The first time he's made a play over at first today, and it's in the biggest situation of the game, and now there's 2 outs.
We were wondering how Penso would fare over at first, and
Batting now,
looked okay doing that right there. Good dig, and
18.
now the Crawdads really need their toughest out of the season to just keep doing that, and Ryan Brome.
Ryan Brome, the big left-handed batter. 1 for 2 today, a pair of runs batted in. First pitch to Ryan Brome. Curveball down low, 1-0. The Crawdads, a depleted roster. The Riptide, a depleted roster. But the Riptide have just come through time and time again today. The Crawdads looking to come back for the 4th time. The 1-0. Brome takes a curveball up high, 2-0.
Anybody's going to get it started for the Crawdads, and it wasn't going to be Schmidt or Corio. You figure Brome, if they do get someone on, he would be the one to do it.
The 2-0. Brome fouls a fastball off the mask of Mez, 2-1. Six to 4, the Crawdads trail in the bottom of the 9th inning in Game 1 of the CCL playoffs. 2-1 to Ryan Brome. Maloney from the third base side of the rubber deals. Brome stays back on a curveball and fouls it back to the screen, 2-2.
That was a dangerous location there. It was a bit of a hanger. Brome just couldn't square it up.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Ryan Brome. 2-2. Maloney. A long set. He fires. Brome stays alive, fouls it off to the left.
And of course it had to be like this. It had to be bottom of the 9th for the Crawdads, a situation it seems like they've just been in so many times, and Ryan Brome at the plate.
Maloney in agreement with his catcher, Mez. The 2-2 pitch to Ryan Brome. Brome lines this into left center field, a base hit. It drops in front of Pinero in the left center field gap, and the Crawdads have a little bit of life with 2 outs.
That was very important to bring the tying run to the plate. They're able to do that. And Brian DeRoff, very powerful. He's been seeing the ball well at the end of the season, and he's been a hero for the Crawdads a few times. So, I mean, this would be one heck of a moment.
Does Brian DeRoff have that clutch gene in him? It would take a miracle for a guy that has just given up 1 earned run the entire summer. First pitch to Brian DeRoff. Fastball lined right to first. Penso has it. Somehow, he makes the catch and ends the game. DeRoff hit it on a line, but right at Blake Penso. The Crawdads fall in Game 1 of the tournament. A heartbreaking loss for Walnut Creek, who fought back time and time again. But a decimated Riptide roster comes through in Game 1 of the CCL playoffs. 6 runs on 12 hits and an error for the Riptide. 4 runs, 8 hits, and 2 very costly errors for the Crawdads. And well, good thing for the Dads, this is a double elimination because they need that second game. They need that mulligan. They'll play tomorrow morning at 10.
Tomorrow morning at 10, and they're going to have to find out who they're going to play. So we do know that the Conejo Oaks are going to play at 2:30 against the OC Riptide. But the loser of the Healdsburg against San Luis Obispo game, that is the nightcap tonight from Sinsheimer Park, the loser of that ball game will be the would that end up being ultimately the one to play the Crawdads,
I believe
correct?
so.
Yeah, so that's the way that's going to work out. So the Crawdads do have another shot at it, but it's another early ball game at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And you know, like you said, Austin, the Crawdads fought. They fought their tails off. They tried so hard to stay in this game. And you know, I think one of the crucial moments of the game was when Tejero was pinch hit for, and with how shallow the bench is now, Donnelly really the only option to go to. You don't have a lot of depth to go to. You don't have a Kavares Tears just sitting there waiting in the wings. You don't have guys that you can send up there in those situations, and Donnelly wasn't able to get it done.
The losing pitcher today, Gabe Tanner, gets his first loss of the postseason. The winning pitcher, Miles Rothfarb, in his first game in about a year. Matthew Maloney gets the save. Crawdads play again tomorrow morning 6-4 the final score for Alonde. I'm Austin Oda. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you tomorrow morning.